Pop Turtle. Speaking to Emma Maltais, a member of PWHL Toronto. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I mean, this whole couple of weeks, I feel like has been the whole kind of experience when it was like the PWHL was like announced and the draft and everything has just been nonstop. But I feel like now that the league is going, there's games happening. It's just been a roller coaster you can't get off of. Does it feel like that emotion wise? Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like people are talking about it. It's like getting buzz. I love it. Like we're all tuning into each other's games. So I feel like it's really like, I don't know, just buzz. I love it so much. And I'm so excited to keep going here. We play Minnesota on Wednesday. Yeah.
The first unified women's hockey league, and it was something that was really interesting because there was talk and everything, and then it happened. What was kind of going through your mind even before you were kind of drafted or anything? What was going through your mind when like it was like set that there was going to be the PWHL?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I like totally lucked out because I went back for my fifth year in college after the Olympics, and there was a lot of buzz that it might happen that year. Just like talking with the girls who are putting it together or doing so much work, and then it didn't happen, and they played another year in the PWHPA, and then there was buzz that it would happen the next year, but it was still up in the air, right? It's so much work goes into it, and I think that's what a lot of us don't understand, but also a lot of like the public doesn't understand either because it's like, what's happening? What's taking so long? So I think I just completely lucked out, like walked right out of college into this like set up league. The draft was a surreal moment where it was like, okay, wow, this is actually happening. And I think when I actually moved into my apartment, like got situated in Toronto, it was like, okay, wow, we're on like a new team now, and this is going to be our lives for a little bit. So it's
Yeah,
really exciting.
absolutely. In terms of, it's interesting because that first game against New York, everything's kind of like it's one of those things where you want to just enjoy the moment, right? First game, inaugural season, but at the end of the day, you have a game to play, right? Like there's like, so was that like a hard balance because it was kind of one of those like wow moments, but it's like all right, we have a game to play, we have to win some games. You know what I mean by that a little bit?
Oh, for sure. Like one of the reporters after the game asked me, like, so like, could you separate the moment from the game? And I'm like kind of like what you're saying. And I was like, yes, because like the moment was so historic, so awesome. Um, and I would say like usually if I would lose 4-0, I probably would be a lot more pissed than that. So I feel like I still was. I'm obviously not happy with the result. I mean, yeah, not the best feeling, but I think also the fact that we played them like a couple days later, like we knew we had another shot at them, and that helped like be like, okay, perspective. This moment is bigger than the result at this time.
It's a crazy feeling, and again, I'm so happy for everyone. Um, the league kind of announces a couple of unique rules. It announces a cool 3-2-1 point system. It announces a kind of cool rule in regards to shorthanded goals, where if a team scores a shorthanded goal, the penalized player is removed from the box. You have scored the first shorthanded goal in PWHL history, which is wild. So, what did you think about the rule, and what was it like, kind of being the first person? Like, because I thought the rule was awesome when I read about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz with that too. Like I think they were testing out the rules and had a lot of voting going on. Like, okay, let's make this interesting. We can make this however we want. Yeah, I mean before that PK, before every PK, like we're always like, let's test out that rule. Like, let's get offensive here. Like, why not? Right? It changes the way you kill.
Yeah.
So I mean, in the moment, I didn't realize it would be like the first ever one. Like I did, but I didn't, until you see it after. But it honestly, we were just like gunning for the win, like our first franchise win. And I think just to like put another one on the board was really big in that moment. So I think that's where our head was at. Jesse made a beautiful play. So it was a nice, easy tap in for me. But yeah.
You mentioned, briefly the Olympics. You represent Hockey Canada internationally, which is, unbelievable, and it's so amazing kind of to represent your country on a kind of global scale. What would you say are the differences and similarities between representing PWHL Toronto and representing Hockey Canada specifically?
Well, I think that the big thing was Hockey Canada's a professional environment, right? Like in centralization, we had basically a 9 to 5 where you go to the rink, you practice, you do video,
Mhm.
you train, you get rehab, you go home.
Yeah.
And that's like ultimately what we wanted, right? Like you see us on TV largely once every 4 years, and everyone has so much craze in the Olympic time, and it's great. But the whole big point of this league was like, hey, what about the 3 years in between? Like, what about
Yeah.
the players that are on the cusp, right? So I think that the environment is essentially the same, but that was like the goal of
Yeah.
this whole thing, right? Like that centralization time. I
Yeah.
think,
100%.
yeah. So I see a lot of similarities in that. I think for our teams now, I think there's more longevity in terms of like we get to play the whole year together.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it is cool. It's similar to college in that way. But yeah,
Go
I think like
go
it's also
Buckeye.
new.
Go
Yeah.
Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes, bring it back to the Buckeyes always.
I mean, college hockey is where you have no choice but to manage your time properly if you think about it, right? No, I mean like
Yeah.
that's kind of where you're really thrown in, right? Where like there's like on ice and off ice, like, and it's not one of those like I'll get to it, right? Like with the
No.
school where like, so was that kind of an eye-opening experience when it was really like, when exams and everything where it was like like I have to be organized. Like I honestly feel like that's one of the reasons why college sports is one of the best kind of routes to go to, because you're kind of forced to have that discipline if you think about it.
For sure. No, you really are, and I think though, like, in college, like, I don't even know how we did it. Like, right now, I'm, just playing hockey, and I'm coming home, I'm like, "Oh my goodness," like, so dramatic, but in college, like, you had to rush to everywhere, and I went to Ohio State, right? Like,
Yeah.
my roommate went to Princeton. Like, I can't even imagine, like, quite doing that? So,
Yeah.
I feel I don't know, like, you're just in like an outer body experience, and like with Ohio State it was easy, like we flew everywhere, like you just do your homework on the plane, and like yeah, life's not hard, but I think just managing that, but you're all doing it together, so it's a different kind of unique experience.
Absolutely. No, it's so crazy. And the scale of some of those games are incredible too. Like it's pretty crazy to kind of go in, especially the rivalries and everything in college sports. It's just
Oh,
you
I
get
mean,
ready
like
the whole week
Michigan's
for yeah.
on. Michigan's on right now. Um, uh, like, I'm like that they better not win this national
I know, like
championship,
you
and I'm
have
like, my mom's like, why do you care? Like, come on.
yeah. uh this is a pop culture outlet in a lot of ways. We do a lot of TV and film interviews, so I have to ask. Holidays have wrapped. What have you kind of been like watching, catching up on with family and friends? Any favorite shows, favorite movies that you can kind of share on the top of your head, or
Yeah, we were watching Fool Me Once. Is that the new show right
yeah,
now
yep,
on
the
Netflix?
new
That's
Harlan
good.
Coben show. That's really good. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. I'm I what did I watch over the oh my goodness, I'm not gonna know the name. Um I am so bad with names. Why am I so bad with names? I feel like I'm not a huge TV watcher. Like my roommate's really into pop culture, and she recently got me into like watching like the Kardashians and
Oh
stuff. And
yeah.
I'm just like a little kid like watching the first like Keeping Up with the Kardashian episodes. And she's like, I can't believe you've never watched this. But so
Mhm.
those two I feel like are the ones that come to the top of my head. I watched a movie about a singer that was recently on Netflix, and I don't know why I can't think of the name, but that was good too.
A singer on Netflix.
Yeah,
That's so.
so
Who?
broad, but
I
like
know. Well,
documentary, man.
like usually I'm good
Um,
at decoding these things, but like I gotta get a bit more than that. Is there anything else you can tell me? Oh my
he's a
goodness.
male singer. Um, oh my goodness, if I like
Who is
looked it up, but
no, I'm just saying, like that was
Elvis.
Oh, was it Elvis?
Yes,
It was the
that's
Elvis
it.
movie. Okay.
Oh my
Oh my
god,
god. Okay.
what time is it?
Oh my goodness. Um I'm trying to wonder if it actually was Elvis or not. You just said
It
it to me
was.
like that's
It
the
was.
first one. Oh
It
man.
came to me finally.
That's good stuff. No, there's a lot of good things out there. Do you ever think, especially you see it when you're representing Hot Canada, especially the Olympics, did you ever see that kind of like pop culture, like sports crossover? Because you know what I mean? Like athletes, professional athletes watch TV and film and listen to music, and like musicians and actors watch sports, right? So there always is going to be that kind of back and forth. Do you like think about that at all, or does that like
Well,
don't
like,
really? Yeah.
okay, I think the big thing for me, one thing that happened to me is I was just hanging out with my friends in Whitby in the summer, at the end of the summer, and like the Jonas Brothers were coming to
Yeah.
Toronto. And my friends were like, Emma, just like DM them. And I'm like, why do you think they would like, no, like I'm not doing that. And I like DM'd Kevin Jonas and he responded and was like, yeah, just go pick up your tickets at the box office. And I was like,
What?
hey, right?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right? So I didn't realize like the crossover, like, we have so much respect for them. They're like so famous.
Was it like a
But I,
prep?
I
But did
feel
you
like
like set it up basically? Like, hey, like I'm a member of Team Canada, like
no, like
Olympics.
I feel like I don't know. I just said like, oh hey, like me and my friends really want to go to your show tonight. Like couldn't get tickets, like whatever. And he's like, oh hey Emma, like yeah, like you know what
And
I
it
mean. I
worked
feel
out, right?
like
You went.
it worked out. I went. We were like front row. I was like, this is insane. The show was insane. But I,
That's a great story. That's
right?
that makes up for the Elvis situation. No, that will go down as one of the greatest things. Everyone's gonna buzz about that. Your getting back to kind of on the ice, your style of play, there is this kind of like, well, I think all players have this like no quit, but kind of like you saw it with your short-handed goal, right? There is this kind of like nonstop component and like, really kind of like pressuring the defense. That's like kind of what you do and everything. Is that a big part of was that always a big part of your game? That kind of like aspect? Like you are a playmaker in a lot of ways, but you have that kind of ability to drive players insane.
Yeah, and I think yeah, that's the goal. That's the
Yeah.
goal. I feel like it was always like a part of my game to like speed and pressure. Like when I played boys, I learned how to be physical and like that kind of stuff, especially for my size. Like I'm only 5'2", so I feel
Mhm.
like with a low center of gravity, like I'm kind of hard to like knock the puck off of, but I can like really get in there.
Mhm.
I don't know when I think when it really, really started at Ohio State, like we weren't like really good, but I think we had this like identity that was like, we're gonna piss you off nonstop throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And we did that to like some of these like really stacked like college teams, like Wisconsin, like my freshman year, I just remember lining up against like this insane roster. And we had this roster you would look at it and be like, oh, easy win.
Mhm.
And we would literally just like grind and grind and grind, and it worked.
Yeah.
So I think I saw the effectiveness of it then.
Yep.
And then obviously we slowly got more comfortable with adding skill to our game and whatever. And then I kind of brought that to some Hockey Canada camps when I was trying to be centralized. And I remember head coach Troy Ryan came up to me and was like, no one's doing that. Like, keep doing that. And I was like, okay, I'll keep doing that. And I feel like that was a big part of why I cracked that roster. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Ever since then, it's kind of just been a staple part of my game.
This is a statement I'm making that is very true, and I just need you to kind of like agree about this because you obviously will agree, and then you just comment on it. And I want to know your things. I'm talking
Okay.
sports right now. I've watched sports my whole life. I watch all sports. USA hockey versus and Team USA versus Team Canada in women's hockey is one of the greatest sports rivalries of all time.
Yes.
Like, it is. I know I'm telling you right now, so I'm not gonna be dramatic, but like,
Yes.
it is like those games are like circled on the calendar every time. Like they are.
Oh yeah. And we play them like so much, but it's just like every time it's just
Every time there's something that
like
happens. Every
yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah,
Even when they're like not close games, like something happens.
yeah. Like you want to tune into those. So I mean, it's just like, how can you like those games are just like a whole nother level. Like I think like everyone is like buzzing about the physicality in this league right now.
Mhm.
And I said to Nursey today, I'm like, I feel like we were doing that with Canada versus USA. She's like, yeah, but like now that like there's more teams doing it, more people are noticing, but those games are like I walk out of those games with these bruises and I'm just like, wow, like that was so physical. Yeah, I don't know.
It's incredible, and there's going to be some amazing PWHL rivalries, and I can't wait for those to kind of start because that's going to be crazy. And yeah, the games are. There's a lot of ways people can watch the games in Canada. TSN, Sportsnet, CBC. There's a broadcast schedule online. I'll link everyone to check that out. But also, games are streaming on YouTube as well for people in the US and everything, which is really awesome as well. So gotta plug always. And that's so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for chatting with me.
I'm gonna go watch Elvis now. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
That was so good. No, now I will always now look at that movie differently, and I will listen. I will always think about like Jonas Brothers now. Going back to this interview,
Perfect.
so it's awesome.
Oh, like legend. That was a legend move by Kevin.
That was amazing. Emma Maltais, your number right on Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's a
Emma?
17. It's not 27.
Like it's like
Haven't changed that.
Yeah, so people can follow you there to keep up to date with everything. Awesome. This has been Pop Alternative. YouTube.com/Pop Previous episodes. Until next time, this is Emma Maltais from PWHL Toronto and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.